how would it make you feel to find out that the largest corporation in America pays no income tax? Thanks to an expose in the New York Times today, we now know that it's true. GE, or General Electric, reported $5.1 billion in profits from business done within the U.S. last year. But they paid zero income tax and, in fact, claim a tax benefit of $3.2 billion. It's just another example of corporate tax evasion, joining the ranks of Bank of America and ExxonMobil. And we can only guess how many other companies out there are doing the same. And it's all done through various strategies, including lobbying. GE has spent more than $200 million in the last 10 years lobbying on tax reform. GE has also expanded its business abroad, cutting 1/5 of its workforce within the U.S. since 2002 and placing their profits made here at home into offshore accounts. And they also hire the best of the best, including former IRS and Treasury officials, for accounting purposes. So I'd say that it's pretty clear that our system needs reform. But how do we go about doing it? Joining me from our studio in New York is Duncan Measle, a national coordinator for U.S. Uncut. Duncan, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Now, first of all, how does it make you feel as a taxpayer? It personally makes me really angry to know that GE paid absolutely zero, nothing in income taxes, despite making billions in profits.
That's right. While the rest of us are being asked to cut back more, General Electric and other major companies in America are avoiding paying their taxes and bankrupting our country.
Now, do you think that we also very easily see in this story the corruption, the revolving door, that GE has an entire team dedicated to work on taxes, and obviously they're not working on figuring out how they can comply with the law, but they're looking for these loopholes, and this tax team has people that are from the IRS, from the Treasury Department, all working on it too, from Washington?
That's right. They spend an exceptional amount of money lobbying Congress, but almost no money paying Congress, making sure Congress has the money to do what it needs to do to serve the American public.
But also, do you feel me that in this revolving door, we constantly talk about so many people, right, that go straight from Washington to Wall Street, and here we have them going from Washington to GE and then helping them evade their taxes?
Absolutely. It's disgraceful. I mean, we in America, we are all beneficiaries of a society that relies on tax revenue to provide basic services, 911, hospitals, teachers, all these things. And spending all that money to evade paying your taxes, it's unacceptable. It's morally wrong. And they need to be doing a better job to serve the American public that does pay their fair share, both in Congress and in the companies that are important for making our economy go.
Why don't you think that we hear the president say more about this, right? Because the president is, after all, trying to cozy up to business. In fact, the chief executive of GE is his chief guy to get Obama to be closer to the business community. He's talking about reducing the corporate tax rate, but he's not pointing any fingers. He doesn't seem to be at all angry that they're completely paying nothing.
Well, I'll tell you what it takes. It takes citizens who do pay their fair share, who are fed up with the system as it is, getting out and taking action. Actually, just tomorrow, there are going to be over 40 demonstrations coast to coast as part of a International Day of Action against corporate tax cheats. The United States has over 40 actions. I'm here in New York. There's going to be one I'm leading, all the way out to California, small towns like Silver City, New Mexico, big cities like Los Angeles. We're all over, and people are fed up, and they're taking action against corporate tax dodgers, going to their front door, saying there will be consequences to your brand. There might be legal consequences. We're showing them that we're really fed up, and I think you're going to see an enormous backlash beginning now, extending as long as there are still budget cuts in America. People are going to be fighting back, and that's eventually how we're going to get the president and get the Congress to respond, is once the companies see that it's going to hurt their bottom line, it's going to hurt their image, then you're going to see the dynamics in Congress and with the president shifting as well.
How have you found the media coverage to be so far of U.S. Uncut and the protests that you've held? Because, of course, you run into a little bit of a problem when you have corporate-owned media and when companies like MSNBC and NBC are owned by GE. Do they talk about these stories?
Yeah, of course. I mean, and we've actually brought together a lot of very strange bedfellows. people have pointed out how often police officers who are directly impacted by budget cuts, who normally don't take that well to people maybe trying to come on private property and cause a little bit of trouble, they actually take to it very well, and they're usually very open and understanding of the protests that are taking place. So we actually are bringing together some strange allies, and I think it's an obvious message, and it's a simple message, that corporate tax cheats are bankrupting America. We need to come together to show them that there are going to be consequences. And I mean, no matter who pays your bills, you can understand that, and I think a lot of people are receptive to it.
I definitely think a lot of people understand it. I just hope more of them are now hearing these stories and finding out about some of these protests. Duncan, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
I definitely think a lot of people understand it. I just hope more of them are now hearing these stories and finding out about some of these protests. Duncan, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.